Mic check. Hello and welcome to round number 3 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 3 of 2023 with the 4-car Rally Car Class mod at Fern Bay Master Race Car Rallycross. This track was used during Season 2 of the Championship and we've got it again tonight. It's quite an interesting one because it is using part of the bullring circuit at Fern Bay, and let's have a quick look at what's in store for us this evening. Taking a look first of all at the combo for tonight, we're going to have 5-lap finals tonight, which is one more lap than previously, and one more lap during each of the qualifying heats as well. So 3 sets of heat races starting in around about 3 minutes time at this version of the Master Race Car Rallycross course at Fern Bay. It is 1 kilometre or 0.6 miles in length, and the Joker is down at the far end of the circuit between turns 5 and 6. You can just see it in the background there, actually. It's slightly longer Joker than at some of the other tracks that we've had. And all of this is going to be brought to you by Master Race Car, supported by New Dimension Racing. Tonight marks round 3 of the 5-round MRC RX Championship for 2023. And as you can see, after tonight, we're going to Aston and West Hill for a couple more rounds. But yeah, tonight, coming to you from Fern Bay. Here's a quick look at the cars, again reminding you that the Fraud Wheeler E2 RX is only slightly lighter than the other 3 cars. The other 3 cars are perfectly homologated with one another. Only the Fraud Wheeler E2 RX is slightly lighter, and a few drivers have been using that, so I wonder whether they're actually getting any advantage from it. Before we have a look at the grids for our first heat tonight, let's take a look at how the Driver Championship standings have been affected by the previous round. Take a look at those now to see what's up. There we go. Stephen Bossard leading the way ahead of Sindra Silva and Tim Ducknodder in 3rd place. Timu Sarkinen in P4, tied on points with Tim Ducknodder now. Then it's Daniel Lundqvist in P5, Rafael Costa 6th, Roni Hoppivuri, Yasin Badal, Fabian Paler, and Roni Krompush down in 10th place. Next, we've got Sergei Stilov, Michael Malik, David Godge, Miguel Leandro, Agostini da Silva, Jelly Dicknodder, Miguel Leandro, and Alexandre Thiel there with 2 points at the back. But yeah, we've got 13 cars or so, I believe, that we have setting laps on the track, and we have 30 seconds coming up before the first heat race this evening. So let's have a quick look then at our grids. Of course, we have plenty of heats coming up, but here are the grids then. We have Yasin Badal, Stephen Bossard, Fabian Paler, Arthur Jackson, and David Godge in our first heat race coming up right now. Here are our cars on the grid for the first heat, and we're going to be away very, very soon, very, very quickly. And there we go. The cars are setting off down to the first tight, tricky, twisty section. We have a false start. We're going to have a restart on this. One of the cars, in fact, has made an error on the start and will therefore receive an extra Joker lap for their trouble. So we'll find out who it was who did the mistake. But there we go. Car 13, it was Paler who made the jump start, so he will be getting an extra Joker lap to do as he heads, first of all, through the little chicane. We've got cars going sideways in the background. That's Godge coming into trouble. Oh no, sorry, Godge is going for a move at the front. That was Arthur Jackson who was having issues. And well, here we go. Paler first into the hairpin. The Joker is just on the right of the screen there. It's Godge who's the first to go through it. There he goes. Arthur Jackson also heading through the Joker. But a good start there for Paler, who will have to make a second trip through the Joker at some point. But there we go, as he heads up to the final corner. This is a very, very, very short lap at this circuit. But Paler currently leading the way as he completes the first of 4 laps in Heat 1. Again, as we head through the chicane, kicking up plenty of dirt. And he's got Stephen Bossard, our championship leader in hot pursuit, in P2. Which one of these guys is going to serve the Joker on this lap? Will it be Bossard? Will it be Paler? Neither of them deciding to use the Joker. As we head on through the lap. Yassin Badal there in third place, being caught up by David Godge slightly. Badal will have to get a couple of very, very fast laps in if he doesn't want to be caught by them through the Joker. And Stephen Bossard, well, he doesn't need to do anything dramatic here. It looks like he may have quite an easy win on his hands because Paler's going to have to do 2 Jokers. Paler's smashed into the Armco there. Bossard trying to go around the outside, thinking better of it. Cuts back to the inside. He'll be on the outside for turn 4. And these two switching positions. Paler does his first of 2 Jokers. He has to do one now. He doesn't have a choice, in fact, because he has to do one on the final lap as well. That releases Stephen Bossard. Badal has gone through the Joker as well, and he's currently lagging quite a lot, so hopefully his connection can make it to the end of the race. But here we are, our race leader, Stephen Bossard. He needs to do his Joker this lap, but so too does Paler. The only other driver who is able to shake up the podium then is David Godge. Badal's had a crash at the back, so slowly round the final corner. Not the start to the round that he would have wanted at all. And now we will see Stephen Bossard enter the Joker. There he goes, nice and clean through the high weeds. Want to avoid the Armco on the exit. He does that just fine. Paler goes through the Joker, and he's out completely clean ahead of Godge. So managing to maximise the error he made on the first start of this race. And coming around the final corner now, after a very quick heat race, it will be Stephen Bossard who will win the first of 3 heat races that he will have to compete in this afternoon for the finals later on. Stephen Bossard, your first winner of tonight's racing action here on the Master Race Car Rallycross Championship Season 3 coverage by Sim Broadcasts. That is everybody across the line and finished. So let's get full classification of the race results for race number 1 here tonight. Stephen Bossard wins ahead of Paler. Then it's Arthur Jackson in 3rd, David Godge in 4th, and Yassin Badal finishes in P5. The fastest lap there, 41.49 by Stephen Bossard. So starting exactly the way he needs to. And round number 2, sorry, heat race 2 for Heat 1 will be coming up in just a moment's time. Let's refresh our minds about the grids for that. Next up, we're going to have Roni Hopiavuri racing alongside Daniel Lundqvist, Timu Sarkinen, and Sindra Silva. And while we have a little bit of a time now, Heat Race 3 will be contested between Miguel Leandro, Michael Malek, Roni Krompush, and Tim Ducknodder. So yeah, what does all of this mean for our championship? Well, Tim Ducknodder currently P3, Sindra Silva in P2. Stephen Bossard still leading the way up there in P1. Let's have a look then at race number 2. And who do we have on the grid for this one? We've got Silva, Hopiavuri, Sarkinen, and Lundqvist. Lundqvist on the right-hand side, Silva on the left as we're looking at them. And there we go. They start cleanly as we head off down to turn number 1. Their start-finish. And Sarkinen currently coming up the rear then. Lundqvist has managed to get through. And it is... well, on my timing screens, it looks like Lundqvist has taken the lead. Yes, he has. As we round turn 4, as Hopiavuri goes straight into the side of Silva and collected Sarkinen there. And it's Silva then who occupies P1 at the moment, followed by Lundqvist. We'll get a timing update there at the timing line. So Silva having a perfectly good start to this race, and 2 of the cars already serving their Joker. Lundqvist and Hopiavuri deciding now was the time to do their Joker after that troubled start. But let's see, will Silva stay out for another couple of runs? Yes, he will, 1 more at least, as we see Sarkinen going for his Joker. There he is, completing it. Nice and easy. Scraping the barrier as he does so. Not the fastest way around the course here, but nonetheless managing it in the end. Just our race leader Silver to complete the Joker, and Lundqvist is actually quite close behind. He's not leaving Silver alone here. So Silver's going to have to do a pretty quick Joker at some point in the next 2 laps. Fine at the moment as we ride on board with Lundqvist coming up to the up to turn 4. Compromised his entry slightly because he scraped the Armco barrier on the way in, but Silver is beginning to slightly pull away, I think, at the front. 2.3 seconds the gap. Lundqvist needs to power on. So final lap of the race then for Silver, just about to begin. Let's see what is going to happen between our top 2 here. If you remember, Sindra Silva did really nicely at the previous round and had a really strong result there, so he's hoping to carry that momentum through. Stephen Bossard, currently our first race winner. Will it be Silver or Lundqvist who joins him? Through the Joker goes Silver. Lundqvist is just coming out of turn 4. He's been caught actually quite a bit by Sarkinen, so possibly a bit of an error while we were watching Silver do his Joker, but nonetheless, Silver emerges in the lead with a healthy lead, just over a second. As we come round the final corner then, in fact it's a 2-second gap. It's a really nice Joker run for Silver. He will win race number 2 of the evening, followed by Lundqvist and Sarkinen in the end. Sarkinen closing up quite a bit, but then Hopiavuri, well, he did not have a great race start. He was into the side of a few cars and comes across the line in P4. So our race results for race number 2 see Sindra Silva winning in 2 minutes 55 with a very nice fastest lap of 41.43. Lundqvist and Sarkinen are your podium finishers, with Hopiavuri finishing in P4. The third of our heat races for Heat 1, bringing to a close Heat 1 of this round. We'll see Miguel Leandro up against Michael Malik, Roni Krompusch and Tim Dicknodder, the organiser of the series and reigning champion, of course, Tim Dicknodder there. We'll see his first outing in round 3 in just a moment's time. See how he gets on. Here comes the restart with our new grid. Miguel Leandro up against Michael Malik, Roni Krompusch and Tim Dicknodder. And the lights go green, and we are off for the start of race 3 here tonight, and it's already carnage. Roni Krompusch being forced to the back. Michael Malik takes the lead, and it is Tim Dicknodder and Leandro who are left to pick up the pieces. Leandro currently trying to go for first. Tim Dicknodder sneaks one up the inside, makes contact, almost spinning Leandro round there, and up into P2. Well. And he jaws alongside Michael Malik. Roni goes for the Joker, and it's Tim Dicknodder who then finds himself up against the rear end of Michael Malik, going for the inside. Michael's left the inside open, and Tim is through. Nice start to the round for him. It looked like it was going to go wrong at turn 3, but he kept it together just about, barging Leandro out of the way. Some might say, oh, but he's gone too deep, and he's hit the apex hard. Somehow Michael Malik's given him the breathing room, and somehow Tim Dicknodder has maintained the lead, but now it's Leandro who is pushing Michael Malik round and trying to get through for P2. Roni's fallen off, but he did do his Joker on the previous lap, so just getting back up to speed as Leandro now trying to get through on Michael Malik into turn number 4. Michael Malik goes wide. He's going to do the Joker lap, and where will he come out in regards to Roni? It's going to be close between the two, but Michael just keeping it ahead. Roni not making such effective work of his outlap there, but nonetheless, those two are together again. Tim Dicknodder has quite an advantage then over Leandro. Leandro's made a mistake on lap 2 somewhere, and with his Joker lap still to go, he could be swallowed up quite easily then by Malik and Krompusch if they keep it clean. But Tim Dicknodder, well, it's not been the easiest heat race for him so far, but he is now in the lead with clear space behind. Can he maintain it? That was quite wide, I have to say. some of the drivers electing to take a kind of a tighter line through turn 3 as Tim goes through the Joker. Leandro follows him through as well. And let's see, has Michael Malik had a good lap? No, he's not able to do anything on the exit of the Joker against Leandro. Neither too is Roni Krompush. Roni with a nicer line there, actually. But Tim has done everything right so far. 1 lap to go in the final race of Heat 1. And as we swing past start-finish, Tim McNaughton has a 2.5 second lead. One of the largest, well, in fact, yes, the largest lead of anyone so far in the event. And, well, that's going to be nice going into Heat 2. He'll have that boost of confidence with this good result if he can finish the lap cleanly. As we come around to turn 4 there, and then through past the Joker. This was a nice clean lap from him. But yeah, in the background, Leandro opening up a bit of a gap over Michael Malik. It's a safe P2 for him for now. Michael, similarly, is about 1.5 seconds ahead of Roni. So quite spread out. But eyes back to this man, series organizer and reigning champion, Tim McNaughton, wins Heat 1 of round 3. Well, wins his heat at any rate in 2 minutes 57. So again, not the fastest heat we've seen so far, but it doesn't matter because he has won it. Michael had a big issue at the end and has somehow managed to drop out of the podium area down to P4. So not a good start by him by any means. And let's get a look at those results then on the screen. Tim McNaughton wins in 2 minutes 57. Remember, the finals are stacked based on the finishing time of your heat races. So the 2 fastest heat races are what places you in the final. Let's take a look then at the overall results for heat number 1 and see where everyone stacks up. Yeah, Tim McNaughton winning that heat only finds himself in P4 overall. It's Stephen Bossard with the fastest time, Sindra Silva second fastest time, and Fabian Paler the third fastest time of heat number 1. And that's how the standings are calculated. So Michael Malik there with that result finds himself in second to last after heat 1. So just a reminder then, once again, that the heat results, your 2 best heat results times, will place you in either the A, B, or the C final. We will get 3 finals tonight. We'll get an A, B, and a C final. Fewer cars, of course, this round than we had in the previous round. But nonetheless, we are going to see those 3 races happening in our finals. And it's currently Stephen Bossard, Sindra Silva, Fabian Paler who lead the way with very, very nice finishing times. So, Stephen Bossard was in the first race. Sindra Silva was in race 2. And Fabian Paler also in race 1. And yeah, considering he had to do 2 Joker laps, he still finds himself up there in P3. So very impressive indeed. 1.5 minutes to go before we will get the races underway for Heat 2. We have provisional grids for the second heat. And we're going to put those on the screen right now. At the moment, provisionally, we have Roni Krompush up against David Godge, Yassin Badal, Michael Malik, and Roni Hopiavuri in race 1. In race 2, Daniel Lundqvist versus Timu Sarkinen, Miguel Leandro, and Arthur Jackson. And then in heat race 3, we have the fastest finishers from heat 1. Stephen Bossard, Sindra Silva, Fabian Paler, and Tim McNaughton will all battle it out to see who is fastest of that bunch. That's going to be a great race. Yeah, 1 minute before we have the green light for heat race number 1 of heat 2. They're coming at you thick and fast in this championship, which I quite like. It's a bit different to anything else we broadcast here on the channel. A reminder to anyone to hit that like button and subscribe to our Twitch or YouTube channels. We're making a bit of a push on our YouTube channel, so if you aren't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe to youtube.com/simbroadcast. We'd appreciate that. So here comes the second heat. Roni Krompush starts alongside David Godge, Yassin Badal in the middle, Michael Malik stage left next to Hopiavuri. And they are away as they head down across the finish line there. It is David Godge, who is finding himself at the back, but Yassin Badal getting spun out completely. Oh no, that was lag, I think. So finds himself at the front, funnily enough. His competitors are not going to be enjoying this. His lag is quite bad. Roni's been forced off, and Yassin finds himself dropping down to P3. Has handed the lead back over to Michael Malik then, who goes through the Joker, decides to do his Joker this time around. David Godge and Roni both going through the Joker. Hoppy Yuri then leading. People will be trying to stay away from Yassin Badal with that little bit of lag there. And we'll see. So rounding the final corner, Hoppy Yuri leading ahead of Yassin Badal. Michael Malik just coming across start finish, closely followed by David Godge and Roni Krompush. Hoppy Yuri getting plenty of sideways action there. Yassin Badal going quite wide of the apex. And Hoppy Yuri needs to get a nice heat race finish here. He really can't afford to have any more slip-ups in this one. Yassin Badal again very, very wide on entry. Using all the road available to him. Tightening up towards the apex, still a bit wide. Giving time up to Michael Malik, who just touches the apex of turn 6. Badal's hit the wall hard at the final corner, and that's giving time back to Michael Malik. Remember, Michael's the first car who's been through the Joker. Hoppy Yuri looks like he's on for a comfortable win here if he can keep this together as he approaches the bullring section of Fern Bay Master Race Car Rallycross. And it's Yassin Badal who takes this opportunity to go through the Joker. Michael will swing through, no doubt. Oh, Yassin's made a pig's ear of that. He comes out behind David Godge even, so losing a lot of time. And Hoppy Yuri finds himself now with the largest gap of anybody in the heat races so far this evening. 6.5 seconds the gap as he crosses over the start-finish line to start his final lap around this track. We've got Yassin Badal and Godge side by side. Yassin's managed to get through on Godge at the final corner. Hoppy Yuri a bit wide there, very, very wide, but it doesn't really matter. He's got a lot of time. And as he heads through the Joker, we have a retirement. David Godge has called it a day. He has retired from this. In fact, I think he's timed out the server. So it wasn't by choice, but he has left. And as we head through the final couple of corners, we are going to be able to say quite comfortably that it is going to be Roni Hoppy Yuri who takes the win in the first race of Heat 2. Michael Malik again not making it very comfortably through the final corner. Yassin Badal, after a heat of all heats, finishes in P3, and it's going to be Roni Krompush who will take 4th place as David Godge has fallen off the server. Oh, goodness me, uncomfortable finish again for Roni Krompush, but everything is going to come down to the final heat for David Godge, because he's got a DNF now on his record for this race. But there we go. Let's have a look at the race results for heat race number 1 of Heat 2. Roni Hoppy Yuri, the number 7, winning in 3 minutes. Not a fast completion time compared to Heat 1. Michael Malik there in P2, Yassin Badal P3, Krompush P4, and David Godge there registers 1 lap down with a DNF. And it was Hoppy Yuri who did the fastest lap of 42.53. The next grid will be contested between Daniel Lundqvist, Teemu Sarkinen, Miguel Leandro, and Arthur Jackson. These guys finished mid-grid in Heat 1. And then our final heat race for Heat 2 between Stephen Bossard, Sindra Silva, Fabian Palat, and Tim McNodder coming up in about 5 minutes' time after this heat. So don't go anywhere. That's going to be one to watch as we get the restart order from Jonathan Palmer of New Dimension Racing, who is going to be managing the action tonight. And here are the 4 cars for the 5th race of the evening: Lundqvist, Sarkinen, Leandro, and Arthur Jackson. And we are green for the start as we see the cars thundering down across the finish line, all side by side. It's a really, really tight entry into this next one, and it's Lundqvist who takes the lead again, but he's spun around. Almost manages to collect it up. Arthur Jackson into the wall, but currently holds the lead ahead of Teemu Sarkinen, as Leandro then challenging for 3rd place against Lundqvist. But it's Arthur Jackson who is leading the pack through And both Sarkinen and Jackson taking the Joker on this first time, but Jackson's gone deep. He's hit the Armco, and that's handed third place back to Teemu Sarkinen. A good Joker for Sarkinen, and it's Lundqvist versus Leandro at the front. Let's watch from Lundqvist's rear perspective and see if Leandro can have anything to say. He does. A tighter line for Leandro. Good exit from Lundqvist, but they're going to be side by side, almost on the run down to the first corner. Yes, they are. Leandro still has a nose in there, but Lundqvist manages to keep it ahead. Leandro just touching the Armco, slowing himself down slightly, but both of these guys holding each other up, because look behind, Sarkinen has closed that gap right down, and these two, well, they both decide to do the Joker. This is going to be interesting. On the exit, Sarkinen clearly through, and Leandro and Lundqvist have both got tied up with each other and find himself right at the back. So in an interesting turn of events, the first time I think this has happened, all of our drivers have served their Jokers before halfway through the race, and the order is completely reversed. We've got Sarkinen in the lead, Arthur Jackson in P2, just rounding the final corner, with Leandro and Lundqvist bouncing off each other once again. This is going to be a story to the end of this heat, I think. Well, Leandro's got a lot of work to do now, and Lundqvist, well, he'll have his have a grip between his teeth, because he's going to be trying to catch up to at least Arthur Jackson. Sarkinen's completely disappeared from his view. Sarkinen is disappearing off into the distance. You can just about see him in the left of your shot now, but that's a huge gap that Lundqvist's got to make up if he stands any chance of winning this one. He's got Arthur Jackson in the way as well, a new driver, I believe, to the championship. Didn't recognise this name from the first couple of rounds, but doing a good job here so far. But he is going to find himself under pressure at the end of this lap. Teemu Sarkinen has a chunky lead, 3.5 seconds as we enter the final lap. No need to do the Joker again. He is comfortably in the lead, and all eyes on the battle for second and third place. Lundqvist still under pressure from Leandro. Leandro is going to make some contact, surely. No, just about keeps it clean. But they're holding each other up so much that Arthur Jackson is just being allowed here to hold on to P2. Leandro's going to go for a move, is he? No, he's not been allowed to. Lundqvist is just taking up all the road, but it doesn't matter. Across the final corner comes Sarkinen to win P2. And it's Leandro side by side with Lundqvist across the line, and it's just going to be Leandro who pips Lundqvist at the line, barged him wide. Leandro is going to be livid with that. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, there we go. That was an aggressive, violent heat race from those guys. I enjoyed it very much. I hope you did too. Sarkinen winning in 2:55, a fastest lap of a 41.2. Very, very rapid. 5 seconds behind was Arthur Jackson, the number 2, who I'm just learning is Jam616 from Piramoto. Welcome along to the series. Leandro in P3 and Lundqvist in P4. Well, he'll be absolutely livid with that, I'm sure. Final race of Heat 2 came quickly, didn't it? It's going to be between Steven Bossard, Sindre Silva, Fabian Paler and Tim Dicknodder, the fastest drivers from the first heat, going up against each other. And here they are already. Jonathan Palmer working very quickly in the background today. Tim Dicknodder stage left, followed by Paler in the middle left, Silva on the right, and Bossard on the far right. And it's a bad start from Tim Dicknodder. He's bogged down completely. And, well, Steven Bossard, another dream start for him. Followed through by Silva in the blue and white machine. And they've all gone into the wall. They've all gone into the wall hard. Silva, in a blink of an eye, going from almost... Well, actually, he's managed to maintain the lead somehow, but Tim Dicknodder finds himself promoted into P2 after all of that, and Paler at the back. Unbelievable. Well, Sindre Silva, he'll be absolutely delighted with that. He can work with this, and Tim Dicknodder, well, he can breathe part of a sigh of relief because of that start. He finds himself tucked under Sindre's rear boiler there. And one very, very quick lap completed here at Fern Bay Rallycross by the Master Race Car team. And it is Sindre Silva who leads the way. Very closely followed by the driver we're riding on board with, Tim Dicknodder, the reigning champion. And series organiser, series promoter as well. As we have Steven Bossard getting close. He's the first driver in this heat to head through the Joker. There he goes. Very clean, very fast as usual from Steven Bossard. And Fabian Paler in the background trying to close up to the back of our top two, but not currently able to. There's quite a gap there between Tim Dittnotter and Paler. And Tim's got it wrong at the final corner again, and that gap I was just talking about has disappeared, and Paler sneaks through. Tim Dittnotter not having a good heat race so far. Can't give up any more time because he's got the fast-charging Stephen Bossard with the Joker under his belt right behind him. Silver might take this opportunity to capitalise on that mistake and take the Joker. Let's see what he does. Nicely through turn 4, and he's in the Joker as we make our run up to the end of the lap. And there we go, just ahead of him you see Paler, yet to serve his Joker, goes through. This could prove tricky for Silver, but by the time he catches up to Paler, I think Paler's going to be doing his Joker, so I don't think it's going to matter too much. Stephen Bossard has found a way through on Tim Dittnotter. So Tim, after a bit of a botched start and a slight recovery, finds himself at the back once again, behind the current championship leader in Season 3, Stephen Bossard, who is proving to be pretty tricky competition to everybody out there, the newcomer to the series, as Fabian Paler now has to do his Joker lap. There he goes. Nice tight apex, a little bit slow on the exit to get back up to speed, but he will rejoin in 3rd place. Tim Dittnotter's had a disaster of a race here, as we see Sindra Silva, Stephen Bossard and Paler glued to each other towards the end of the lap. Can Stephen Bossard make it 2 from 2? Can he get past Silva in the final corner? He's going to have to push him if he wants to. Paler's pushed Bossard, as we have what has to be one of the closest finishes of any of the races in LRC RX 2023. All of the cars covered by 1.42 seconds. Impressive finish. That's going to be a very, very fast heat from these guys, in fact. So all of them can be pretty happy with that result. But it was Sindra Silva who wins this heat. Very, very nice driving from him indeed. Let's pull up the race results then. Just 1 second, we're going to try and get our results up on the screen for you just here. So please bear with us while we fix this. So there we have it. Silva in 2 minutes 55 wins the second heat. He beats Stephen Bossard. Fabian Paler comes across the line in P3, and Tim Dittnotter in 1 minute 42 completes that heat. A very, very fast heat. The fastest lap by Paler of 41.26, just proving to you how quick that was. But yeah, we have an overall result then for this heat race, for heat 2. And let's put that on the screen now. It's Sindra Silva who takes the lead overall. The combined result of heat number 2 there, with Timu Sarkinen in P2, Stephen Bossard in P3, Fabian Paler in P4, Tim Dittnotter in P5, Arthur Jackson in P6, Ronnie Hoppivuri P7, Michael Mark P8, Miguel Leandro and Daniel Lundqvist rounding out the top 10. So that was a very, very fast heat for the top 4 again. Comparing that to the heat results from heat 1, it's the same 4 cars who are right at the top again. But this time, Sindra Silva with a very, very fast heat time indeed. Best of the rest is Arthur Jackson, and that was impressive. In fact, no, best of the rest is Timu Sarkinen, who got a very, very fast heat race. And now we can take a look at the grids for our 3rd heat. And this contains our combined heat race times. You'll notice that David Godge has an extremely large heat time because he had a DNF. So he needs to get a good result here. And luckily for him, he will be able to race first in heat number 3. Because heat number 3, race 1, will be contested between Michael Malik, Roni Hoppivuri, Yassin Badal, Roni Krompush, and David Godge. Here comes the race. Running as efficiently as ever tonight, Michael Malik takes up his position on the start grid. He is on stage left, right as we're looking at it. And David Godge is on the opposite end, as we've got Yassin Badal having a bit of lag again, and he kind of appears at the back of the grid. But as we head on to, oh, this is going to be a restart. Absolutely unbelievable. Yassin Bidal has completely sent Michael Malik flying across the track. This cannot be allowed to continue. That race has been red flagged, as we will see what will be done about Yassin Bidal's lag. I think we're going to go for a restart, and we're going to see this race happen again. But yes, apologies for that. That was a little bit unusual. Yassin Bidal hasn't had such bad ping in previous races, but today it's been all over the shop. So let's see if it can be another clean start from these guys as we go away for the second time of asking. Yassin's still flickering in and out of shot, being squeezed between Roni and Hopiaviri. Oh, and he's lagging again, but he's at the front. He's been spun round, and Hopiaviri has rolled over. This is unbelievable. Oh, goodness me. And it has to be another red flag as Hopiaviri is sent up and through our cameraman. Bidal is going to be disqualified. Yassin Bidal disqualified for being obviously too laggy to compete in that. This is a close contact sport, and we have no room for, unfortunately, no room for a ping like that today. So the third time of asking, the third race for these guys, contested without the number 45, and we send condolences to the family of our cameraman there as we start the race. And we head down to the first corner. We've got Roni Krompus giving Hopiaviri some hard time, but it's Michael Malik who gets a clean start and away into the lead. David Godge squeezing through as well, being forced a little bit wide by Hopiaviri. But we're away cleanly at last for the first race of Heat 3. And it's Michael Malik who takes the lead. David Godge in second. Roni goes through the Joker and will return in fourth place. It's a slow Joker from Roni. He won't have enjoyed that, but there we go. Hopiaviri and David Godge now side by side. David Godge has to get a good result here because he had a DNF from his second heat. He timed out. And as we head through to finish lap number 1, it's Michael Malik, Hopiaviri, David Godge, and sometime later, there he goes, Roni Krompus across the line. And Michael Malik is having a good race so far. Hopiaviri some distance behind, 1.2 seconds. And which one of these three will serve their Joker this time? A little bit wide there for Michael Malik. None of the drivers choosing to go through the Joker. Godge, a late decision. And somehow Roni Krompus has managed to get out alongside him. And David Godge is going to try and make this move around the outside. It's not going to work. He has to tighten his line for the apex. And, well, we have two groups now, Michael Malik and Hopiaviri. And Roni Krompus and David Godge. David Godge wide. Roni with a better line at this point, and will open that gap up. So David needs to dig deep now. He needs to gain some time as we head through to the latter part of the lap. Michael Malik is leading, but only just. Hopiaviri has scored consistently better than Michael in the championship so far. And as Michael takes the Joker, Michael Malik takes the Joker, and Hopiaviri was thinking about it, but decided against it once Michael committed for the Joker. As Michael taps again the apex. He's on for P2 here, but he needs to keep it clean. Hopiaviri has been released now, so he needs to get another clean lap himself as we head on to the final lap of this heat. Michael Malik into P2. Again, losing a bit of time at the apex of the final corner. Let's see, can Hopiaviri get through the Joker and out ahead of Michael? I think he can just about manage it. It's going to be close, but it's going to be Hopiaviri, I think. We're riding on board with Michael. Hopiaviri has taken a very deep entry into the Joker, but there's acres of space between him and Michael Malik then. And it's not going to be enough for Michael on this occasion to take a win, but Hopiaviri will be happy with that. He just has to hope that it was fast as we head to the final corner of this race. Across the line, well, quite close in the end to all the other drivers in this heat race. Hopiaviri wins ahead of Michael Malik, Roni Krompus and David Godge with a well-needed, fast-ish heat time. All right, then, let's take a look at those all-important race results. Fury wins in 3 minutes 1, so not the fastest of the heats that we've seen so far. Michael Malek in P2, Rony Krompush in P3, and David Godge in P4. Fastest lap went to Hoppy Fury, a 42.43. And let's take a look at the final, the final two races we're going to have in Heat 3. Race 2 coming up just now between Teemu Sarkinen and Daniel Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson and Miguel Leandro. And here comes that race right now. It's going to be Teemu Sarkinen who starts on the right-hand side. Next to him, it's Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson in the middle left, and Leandro on the far left. And as the drivers spool up the engines inside their rally car of choice for this event, they head on down to the first corner, all side by side. Sarkinen pulling a slight advantage. Lundqvist being tagged a little bit by Arthur Jackson there. But all clean through to turn number 3. And it's Teemu Sarkinen who will lead the pack through to the first joker of the race. Which of these drivers is going to choose to do the joker now? Sarkinen does not. Arthur Jackson does. And it's Leandro and Lundqvist together. Who would have guessed that after Heat Race 2? These two are inseparable. And they're not going to enjoy that at all because Sarkinen is being allowed to disappear once again. He was the best of the rest in the results after Heat 2, appearing in P2 overall for his time. So very, very fast heat racing times. You can expect to see him in the A final if he keeps this up, as Lundqvist now has made a bit of a break over Leandro, which is good news for both of them really, because they don't want to hold each other up. Arthur Jackson has already completed the joker lap, remember. They don't want to give any time to their competitor, the number 2 there, as Teemu Sarkinen elects not to do the joker. Lundqvist and Leandro at the same time. Unusual choice there to go through the joker. They're going to be separated by Arthur Jackson. Leandro tries the switchback, very clever, forcing Arthur Jackson offline. It's not enough. Leandro clipped the apex slightly, and well, a good lap that from Arthur Jackson, finding himself back in P3. Oh, but almost slightly pushed offline there by Leandro at the back. As we keep our eyes focused on Lundqvist, let's see how he can do. He is the closest to upsetting Teemu Sarkinen, who can choose to do his joker now or on the final lap. The final lap it will be. We swing round and see Lundqvist leading Jackson and Leandro as Leandro sneaks through on the inside of Jackson. Jackson too wide of the apex to defend that. And that's what happens if you give any of these drivers a sniff. They will take what they can get. As Arthur Jackson then takes up the rear of the race now. And Sarkinen charges full speed through turn 1 on the final lap. So we will see him through the joker as he emerges from the trees on this high camera shot. There he goes, around turn number 4. Through nicely through the joker. And there is a lot of daylight between him and Lundqvist. This might be in fact, this will be the largest gap we've seen between P1 and P2 so far in round 3 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 3. Final corner for Sarkinen. A very comfortable victory for him ahead of Lundqvist. Leandro, who doesn't get P2 on this occasion. The roles were reversed definitely in the last race. Leandro pushing Lundqvist out for P4 in the last race. And Arthur Jackson coming across the line in P4. So let's see the results then for race number 2 of Heat 3. Teemu Sarkinen wins in 2 minutes 53. Another very, very fast heat time from him. Ahead of Lundqvist, Leandro and Arthur Jackson. Alrighty. Final race of heat number 3 is coming up, and it's going to be contested between Stephen Bossard, Sindra Silva, and Fabian Pela. As if that was any surprise, it's going to be another fast and furious heat race between those guys. Remember that the fastest heat times are stacked against one another in the following set of heats. And here comes that race right now. So our final heat race of the evening will be contested between Stephen Bossard, Sindra Silva, Fabian Paler and Tim Dicknodder, the fastest drivers from Heat 2. And here we go. Stephen Bossard with another good start, but it's Tim Dicknodder who noses the field ahead as we head down to turn 1. He's on the outside though, it's tricky, and it's Paler who sends it. He is the bravest, and Stephen Bossard and him come to blows. Silva is allowed to lead again. Sindra Silva, a great start, and it's often the start that will define the race here. The three behind scrapping with each other quite hard here. Paler at the back, but we've seen him sneak through in the past. Tim Dicknodder elects to do the Joker. Probably smart, because Bossard and Paler then are left squabbling it out together at the front. And Paler will want to try and find a way through. He's going to try and force Bossard into a mistake here. Silva is cleanly away at the front. No competition at all into these apexes, as Bossard then takes P2 with both hands and needs to try and stretch that gap over Fabian Paler. Oh, Silva's binned it. He's hit the apex hard, and luckily able to group it back up. But unbelievable stuff there. Was out completely on his own and has dropped the ball in a considerable way. Paler through the Joker. Stephen Bossard stays out, but now Sindra Silva risks losing out to Tim Dicknodder. Tim will hate the fact that he's going to be almost caught up behind Silva. He has to stay close though if he wants to make an advantage. Tim's going for it. He's through. So struggling then is Sindra Silva after that fantastic Heat 2 race. Sindra Silva finding himself dropping down like a stone here. And, well, unbelievably, he might be collected by Paler as well. Sindra Silva could find himself all the way down in last place. We're going to watch Stephen Bossard hit the Joker this lap or the next. Let's see what he chooses to do. If I were him, I'd stay out for one more lap. He does, to try and open up that gap over Tim Dicknodder. Will Silva go for the Joker? Yes, he will. He has to. He wants to try and get this battle done on track. He will come out in last place by a considerable margin over Paler. And has to push now with a damaged car. That was a pretty big incident that he found himself having there. As we enter the final corner of the race then, Stephen Bossard entering it the way he would want to in first place, followed by Tim Dicknodder, Paler and Silva, who have all now done their Joker. But it is Silva, the big upset today for him, because, well, he was probably feeling quite happy with himself after Heat 2, but he will not be happy with that. That will not be a fast heat time for him at all. He might find himself in the B final as a result. Let's wait and see. Stephen Bossard, he is on an absolute mission in this series. He comes out of the Joker into the lead, and is looking to get his second heat race win of the event. Interrupted only by a second place because of Sindra Silva in the previous heat. And across the line comes Stephen Bossard to win a very, very nice heat race ahead of Tim Dicknodder in P2, Paler in P3, and in fourth place, unlucky on this occasion, it's Sindra Silva in P4. Here we go then, the final heat race of our event today sees Stephen Bossard winning in 2 minutes 53.64 ahead of Tim Dicknodder, Fabian Paler and Sindra Silva. Stephen Bossard, a fastest lap of a 40.91. That is outrageously fast for him. So trying to get past, trying to get the fastest heat time that he possibly can. And as we take a look at the final results for Heat 3, it was Teemu Sarkkinen by 0.2 of a second who set the fastest heat racing time. So not even Stephen Bossard can shine a light to Teemu Soini this time. To Teemu Sarkkinen this time. Very, very close. 200ths of a second the gap. But it is Teemu Sarkkinen who registers the fastest Heat 3 time. And I believe that means that we can see the grids for our final. It will be Stephen Bossard, Teemu Sarkkinen, Sindra Silva, Tim Dicknodder and Fabian Paler in the A final. Who from the B final will be joining them out of Daniel Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson, Roni Hopiavuri, Miguel Leandro or Michael Malek. And in the last chance run, really, Roni Krompus, David Godge or Yassin Badal. Which of those three will join the B final? Last time we had a driver climb the ranks from the C final through to the A final. Badal not currently here because of his connection issues, we think. So it'll be a 2-car C final if that stays the same. So either Roni Krompus or David Godge will be promoted through to the B final. Out of everybody in the B final, it looks like Daniel Lundqvist is most likely to join the A final, but any of the guys in the B final can be promoted to make it a 6-car A final tonight in the third round of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 3. Well, what a race we've had so far. It's been fantastic. And a big shout out to New Dimension Racing and Chris McElroy from Sim Broadcast for putting together this these timing graphics for the Rallycross format here. It makes it so much easier, I'm sure you'll agree, to keep track of all of the goings on in this race, in this event. So thank you very much to the hard work that they've put in to bring you the results screens for this event, because it makes my life easier. It makes it easier to track everything. So a nice improvement to see that in use here. That's for sure. Okay, only a couple of minutes to go before we will have the first race of our finals. And let's take one more look at those grids then. Stephen Bossard, Timu Sarkinen, Sindra Silva, Tim Nodder, and Fabian Paler will be joined by either Daniel Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson, Ronny Hopivieri, Miguel Leandro, Michael Malek, Ronny Krompush, David Godge, or Yasin Badal if he rejoins the server. Badal's still not in the server, so we will be having a 2-car final in just a moment's time. Here we go then for the finals. The first final will be contested between Ronny Krompush and David Godge. Just a 2-car final, so it's going to be away pretty quickly. And here we go. There is our grid. A very unusual looking grid, I know, but there we go. Between David Godge in the middle and Ronny Krompush on the right. There we go. They're away, and it's a good start from both of them, actually. And hopefully they don't come to blows. It would be very unusual to see these two bouncing off each other, considering there are only 2 of them on the track. But there we go. Through turn number 2, it is Ronny Krompush who's leading. David Godge needs to try and keep up with him. Else we're going to have a pretty unspectacular heat race between these two. And already the gap is growing. Ronny Krompush really wants that place in the B final to have any chance of being promoted. And already he is opening up that gap. He can't afford any mistakes, mind you. It's very easy to clip a barrier or drop a wheel somewhere you don't want to put it. But so far so good for the number 96, Ronny Krompush. Comes around the final corner and has daylight between him and David Godge. And that will be a 1.5 second gap that he has opened up. Pretty wide again for Ronny. Not making it easy for himself, is he? As David Godge bouncing off the Armco barriers. Will he take the Joker? No, he doesn't. Neither of the drivers electing to take the Joker on this occasion. So looks pretty straightforward at the moment for Ronny. He's got the pace, certainly, over David Godge. Can David do anything to stop Ronny from running away with this? At the moment, it looks pretty comfortable for the Latvian. As we head through turn 1 for the third time of 5, of course, in the finals, 5-lap finals. Ronny looks fairly comfortable still. David, again, wider than Ronny Krompush through the third corner. And as Ronny stamps on the loud pedal, it's quite a nice drift into this tightening left-hander. You have to get the car all the way over to the tarmac section, or else you'll find yourself clouting another apex, very, very close to the apex for Godge. Final corner for both of these guys, with now 2 laps remaining. Neither of them has done the Joker. And this is a very unusual final. I think this is the fewest cars we've had in any of the MRC Rallycross heats. But such is the way it happens sometimes. Yasin Badal's ping just hasn't allowed him to compete as David Godge slams into the Armco barrier again. And he will take the Joker on this time around. A little bit slow at the apex again. Drivers going into the Joker with a little bit too much speed sometimes, compromising their exit. It does tighten up at the exit quite a lot, and you can win or lose a race in there. And let's see, David Godge has got it out of the way. That means you can relax and just focus on the line for the last lap. But Ronnie Krompush, he has to do the Joker now. He has no choice, or otherwise he'll be disqualified. And, well, David Godge actually has had a pretty nice lap so far. Ronnie can't really relax. He needs to focus on the task. Into the Joker he goes. Quite a tight line for Ronnie, and he's completely messed it up. And that's going to allow David Godge a free pass into the B final. Ronnie got it wrong. Completely wrong. What on earth happened there? Ronnie, you've got it completely wrong there, buddy. David Godge, he'll be laughing from ear to ear, I'm sure. In fact, he won't be. He's just clouted the apex of the final corner. And, well, in a little bit of a surprise turn of events, it's David Godge who will be promoted to the B final. And Ronnie Krompush, well, he'll be wondering what on earth happened there. And, well, he'll hope to forget about that one, I'm pretty sure. There are the results then of our 2-car C final. David Godge, somehow, he'll be thinking, has been promoted to the B final. And he will join the likes of Daniel Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson, Ronnie Hopiavuri, Miguel Leandro, and Michael Malik. Let's have a look then at the there we go. David Godge's name has been added to the grid for the B final there at the bottom in B6. And it's Daniel Lundqvist who is the favourite with the fastest combined heat race finish times. His best 2 heat times combined means he finished in 5 minutes 57, some 3.2 seconds ahead of Arthur Jackson in P2. Here comes the B final for round 3. We are going to have a restart for this race. David Godge has timed out. We're going to wait for him, and we will be back on the grid in just a second. David Godge is back on the server, so he is going to join now, and we are going to have a restart. And hopefully we will see our 6-car B final. Yes, we do. There we go. All the cars on the grid. On the front row, from right to left, we have Lundqvist, Arthur Jackson, then it's Hopiavuri and Leandro, Michael Malik and David Godge on the back row. Here come the lights. We are green for the B final. It's a slow start for Hopiavuri. He has not got away well at all. And leading the cars down to the first corner, it's Lundqvist, the favourite for the B final. Arthur Jackson on the outside has a good run into... Oh, no, he's into the wall, unfortunately. Holding up Michael Malik quite a bit there. And Leandro trying to thread the needle through the middle. Arthur Jackson goes wide. Hopiavuri up the inside will make it almost 3 wide into turn 3. As Arthur Jackson tagging the back of Leandro there. As David Godge is just wondering what on earth to do here. 4 cars in the Joker. Everyone except Lundqvist and who else didn't go in? No, it was Arthur Jackson who didn't go into the Joker there, as well as Lundqvist. So those 2 out front, well, they'll be pretty happy they didn't go into the Joker because everybody else did. Bit of a traffic jam in the Joker lap that time round. Michael Malik in P3. Much better heat race. A set of heat races for Michael Malik this round than previous rounds. Has to be said, a marked improvement for the number 47. As Lundqvist then has clean air in front and behind him as we have a car disconnecting from the race. Hopiavuri has completely left the server, so he's thrown in the towel as Arthur Jackson re-emerges from the Joker lap just alongside Leandro there. Michael Malik just behind, and Leandro's tagged the apex, allowing Arthur Jackson through. Goodness me. Somehow Arthur Jackson's managed to get back into P2. That was a good effort. Lundqvist then will hope to do the same. He'll see that Arthur's come out in P2 and that will give him some energy going through the Joker whenever he decides to do it. But it's close then between the second 3, from P2 down to P4. Jackson, Leandro and Malik as Lundqvist goes through the Joker on lap 3. So he gets out of the way now, and he's out in very clean air ahead of the pack behind him, who are just squabbling with each other. We ride on board with Arthur Jackson. We can just see, well, we can see how sideways they're going, that's for sure, as Jackson scrapes the Armco a little bit there. And as we head towards the end of lap number 3, Michael Malik slightly dropping off the back of these two, but as we've seen in the past, Leandro does like to use his car as a bit of a battering ram to try and get through other cars. Will he do the same on Arthur Jackson in the B final? At the moment, it does look like Lundqvist, the favourite, will be promoted, but Arthur Jackson goes wide and allows Leandro an attempt to get through. Very, very nice line from Leandro. It's going to be through cleanly here. Gives Jackson a bit of a slap as we head to the next apex, and through very, very nicely goes Leandro. That's one of the best overtakes we've seen today, and potentially Michael Malik could be in with a shout here as well. He's a lot closer to the back of Jackson. Jackson goes deep. Oh, and Michael Malik is in with a good opportunity here if he can get the car turned. Yes, he can. And well, this is a very different story to the last couple of weeks for Michael Malik. He's had a much better go of it this time round, improving all the time. A little bit wide, decides to go for a wall ride. That's an unusual overtake for Michael Malik. Unsure whether that's allowed, but anyway, he's made the move somehow on Arthur Jackson. Wall riding. You can add that one to the list of techniques for Fern Rallycross. Unbelievable. I wonder if the stewards will take a look at that. That wasn't exactly orthodox, but here we come up to the final corner. On the 5th lap of race 2, the B final, it will be Lundqvist who is promoted to the A final of round 3, followed by a very nice race between Leandro, Michael Malik, Arthur Jackson, and David Godge, who was unfortunately eliminated after being promoted from the C final. Well, what a race that was. Michael Malik, you cheeky boy, up into P3 at the death there. And let's get a look then at our results for that race, the B final. Won by the number 71, Lundqvist, Daniel Lundqvist there with a 3-minute 42.89. And the fastest lap of 42.27. Nowhere near the fastest lap we've seen this afternoon, but it doesn't matter because he is going to join the list of names in the A final. And here are those A final classifications. Stephen Bossard will join Teemu Sarkinen, Sindre Silva, Tim Dicknotter, Fabian Paler in the A final. There is Daniel Lundqvist's name in A6 there, the B final winner. Fantastic stuff. So just one race left to go in round number 3 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 3. Here comes the grid. Let's hope it is the grandstand race that we expect it will be. 5 laps of Fern Rallycross coming up with the fastest 6 drivers from tonight's event. Here we go. So on the front row, it's Stephen Bossard alongside Teemu Sarkinen. Sindre Silva lines up alongside Tim Dicknotter, and it's Fabian Paler alongside our B final winner, Lundqvist, at the back. And as we swing the camera around to see all the cars shooting up towards turn 1, it's Stephen Bossard with a early lead. Oh, but he's been spun round quite a lot, but he's managed to gather it up. He's been pushed around by a couple of cars here, and it's Fabian Paler who leads. Stephen Bossard down to 4th place now, as Tim Dicknotter argues with him almost to the back. But there we go, Sindre Silva then at the back, Fabian Paler at the front. We've got a car in the Joker. That was Tim Dicknotter doing his Joker lap early. My goodness me, that was a it was a big squabble. But Fabian Paler leading comfortably at the front ahead of Teemu Sarkinen, who managed to be involved in heat races without these guys. He wasn't driving against anyone in these heats, I don't think. So this will be a bit unusual to be driving against these guys today. But here we go. In the A final, Sarkinen looks well set for a good result. It is Fabian Paler who leads currently, but Sarkinen, well, he had the fastest heat race at one point this afternoon. As Lundqvist then goes into the Joker, our B final winner. Oh, and he's made a big mess of it. He's hit the apex in a similar style to Roni Krompush, just able to get the car going a little bit quicker there, but not good for our B final winner. Lundqvist will not enjoy that at all. And, well, he's going to have to do a lot of work if he wants to be back in the mix here. Tim Dicknotter in P5 will have to worry as well. He will not like being where he is at the moment. He's completed his joker, but he's a distance and a half behind Paler at the moment. 3.8 seconds the gap to the front from Tim Ducknotter. And, well, when are these guys going to do their joker? Teemu Sarkinen, very, very nice entry into the joker there. Used all of the speed he could. And the number 69 will emerge alongside the number 13 of Fabian. No, who is that? That is Silver, not the 39 at all. That's 63. And he pushes Silver into the wall. And through goes Tim Ducknotter. Well, Silver's been robbed there, you'd have to say. That was, well, yeah. It happens in Rallycross, I guess, and you have to take what you get sometimes. Fabian Paler leads ahead of Stephen Bossard, our championship leader. Will we have a new A-final winner today, I wonder? Who's going to go through the joker? Will it be Paler? Will it be Bossard? No, it won't. Are we going to see Silver go through the joker? Yes, we are. He commits early, drops a wheel on the grass on the outside to get the car rotated. I think that's the first time we've seen that happen so explicitly, but there we go. Paler leads by quite a margin, 1.2 seconds ahead of Stephen Bossard, who has the fastest lap at this time in the race. Will that be handed over to Paler? No, it won't. So Stephen Bossard with the pace, but not currently with the track position over his rival in the championship. But we are on the final lap then of the event, and are we going to see Paler with a good joker? Let's have a look. A number of drivers have got this wrong, but no such issues for Paler and Bossard. Bossard's going to come out in P2 as well, so it looks like our grid have shuffled themselves into the order that they will finish in, unless there is an upset at the front. Can Stephen Bossard do anything to try and get past Paler, or will it be another round that slips away from Stephen Bossard? He won round 1. He couldn't win round 2, and he won't win round 3. It's Paler who wins round number 3. A fantastic final race between those two. Very, very close across the line. Just 0.4 of a second in the end. P3 will be picked up by very well-deserving Teemu Sarkinen. He had a fantastic set of heats. He finishes in P3. Well-deserved points. Tim Ducknotter, he's going to be a bit gutted to be in P4. I'm sure we'll talk to him after the race. Definitely a better result this week than the last time out. Sindra Silva, he'll be disappointed with that shove. And, well, Lundqvist, he can only be grateful to really be in the A final after being promoted from the B final. A good result for him, finishing in P6 overall. We will look at the race results as we have them, and then we're going to get a look at the final classification of the whole event. But there we are, Fabian Paler winning in 3 minutes 36.76. Stephen Bossard took the fastest lap of 41.22, and also P2, another P2 overall in round number 3. Tim Ducknotter finishes behind Teemu Sarkinen. Teemu Sarkinen, a fantastic event for him today. Tim Ducknotter will be a little bit upset, I think, with that one, but definitely a better result here than in round 2. Sindra Silva finishes in P5, and Lundqvist finishes in P6. Sindra won't be happy either, I don't think. He won round 2. He would have hoped to be higher up, but still, really valuable points in the overall championship. Let's take a look then at the final results of the round. If we can get those on the screen. There we are. Fabian Paler wins the A final ahead of Stephen Bossard, Teemu Sarkinen, Tim Ducknotter, Sindra Silva, and Daniel Lundqvist. P7 goes the way of Miguel Leandro. Then it's Michael Malek, Arthur Jackson, and David Godge rounding out your top 10. Roni Hopiavuri is in P11, and Roni Krompush in P12, with Yasin Badal unable to compete in the C final, finishing in P13. And that's all she wrote for round number 3 of Master Race Cars Rallycross Championship Season 3. I do wonder whether we are going to hear from any of the drivers after today's race. It looks like we are going to hear from Tim Ducknotter. Tim, are you with us? Just give Tim a moment to set up his microphone or his push to talk or whatever. He's just finished driving, so we'll give him a moment to sort that out. Tim, are you with us there? Unfortunately, we can't hear Tim, so we'll have to give him a few more minutes. So, yeah, bear with us, and we'll be back in a moment's time once Tim has sorted out his microphone. We're going to try and line up a few interviews here. Please don't go anywhere. We will be back just as soon as we have some people to talk to. We're still lining up some interviews, so we are going to be back in just a moment's time. Don't go anywhere. All right, we have some interviews, and first of all, we are going to talk to Tim Dicknotter. Tim, again, it was a tricky round, but you did pretty great. How would you sum up this race?
It was a very difficult race. I tried to get out of the fights at the start, so I put the Joker in the first lap and tried to close back up. But after Silva made his mistake, he tried to get back through on the inside, where I lost some time, where Timo could Joker without losing a place, and I was stuck in P4 at that point.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a better round for you than round 2, so some improvements. But what can you say about the guys ahead of you? I mean, they've really turned up and they've really put in the practice, and they're getting some good results, has to be said.
Yeah, it's very fun to have a fight in the final. Last year it was sometimes easy. The last 2 rounds with the guest drivers like Timu and René Koets, there I didn't win, but overall I like it more now that you have to fight for a victory. It isn't just a given that you can win and win a championship. I enjoy this a lot more.
Yeah, it's been absolutely awesome. Yeah, definitely a higher level of competition this year. I think it's fair to say. You haven't been able to run away with it this year, Tim. You've had to work for your money. So yeah, it's been awesome to watch. Going on to round number 4. There's only a couple of rounds left to go in the championship. There's only a couple of rounds left to get any points. What do you think your chances are of defending your championship?
I would say the chances are almost 0. I know Steven from a long time ago. He was with me on LFS in 2009. He was almost unbeatable back then, and it still hasn't changed.
Well, fair enough. I think we're going to hear from Stephen in a moment's time, actually, which will be interesting. So maybe you can have a word with him in a minute. We've got Sindra Silva in the commentary box as well. Sindra finished P5 tonight. P5 compared to the win last time out, Sindra, you must be a little bit disappointed with that one.
Yeah, of course. Didn't go after plan in the start, and from heat 3 where we had that spin from the lead, it was I seriously don't have any idea what happened, but all of a sudden everything just was so weird to drive, and I couldn't get the pace down from the one heat to another. So yeah, no idea, but I can't be having those mistakes when you're trying to fight for the championship for sure.
Yeah, speaking of the championship, same question to you that I asked Tim. We obviously going into the next round. You've got only a couple of rounds left. Do you think there's enough time to close up for a better championship position? I'm sure you can do. I'm sure you can do something.
Yeah, I think our goal is still to win the championship. So I think we still have that possibility, but we will need to have some lucky races from my side and some bad races from Steven's side. So we will see. It's I'm looking at the layout that we're driving now next week, so it can be an interesting one.
Yeah, for sure. You've got some work to do, but it's not out of reach. Speaking of the two guys that we were talking about at the top of this, let's grab a word with Fabian. Fabian, how are you doing, first of all?
Hello, I'm doing fine, thank you.
Good stuff. Welcome to the commentary box. Not sure we've had an interview with you before, but yes, we are glad to have you here. And just want to get your thoughts first of all on round 3. You did a fantastic job, of course, and you've now you've got a round win under your belt. How does it feel?
It feels good. It was a fun evening, even though I had quite not good hits. I did a lot of mistakes in the first hit, and then in the second and third hit, I was not as fast as I wanted to be or as fast as I could be. But yeah, I think I got quite lucky in the first turn. I don't know what happened in front, but I got a big gap opened, and then I was just first at turn 2. So yeah, that was quite lucky, I think. Yeah.
But nevertheless, you managed to wrap it all up and end with an A final win, which was something I'm sure you've been going for since the beginning of the championship. What do you make of it in Live for Speed? Obviously, this is your first time in the Rallycross Championship. It's quite nice. It's quite nice to have this format in the sim. What do you make of it?
Actually, I know Live for Speed since a very long time. I was driving it when it was just a demo. So I think it's the first sim I have been driving on. I think that was like 20 years ago or something. So I really love Live for Speed. I think it's one of the most realistic one out there. So yeah, it's a lot of fun, and we used to drive it a long time ago with Steven also. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Good. Well, it's great to have you here. So 2 rounds to go in the championship, and I'm sure you're going to be looking to try and finish those last 2 events with another 2 wins.
Yeah, we'll try for sure. It's always, of course, we are driving it for fun. It's mostly to enjoy the night and stuff. But even though it's just a sim, when you're driving it, you always try to do your best and you always try to win. So when I was driving Live for Speed a few years ago, I often had good results. So I want to have good results now too. So I will try to win again for sure. But it's not going to be easy because Steven is very quick, and maybe my brother will join again, and Sindre is quick too. Team is quick, so it's always very tight. But that makes it even more fun, I think.
Yeah, we do expect bigger grids towards the end of the season, so we will hope to see some more drivers back for round 4. And speaking of Steven, let's have a word with him. Steven Bossard, welcome to the commentary box. Didn't quite go your way today, but welcome to the commentary box and talk us through it. How did that? Well, first of all, how was the A final?
Yeah, hello everyone. A final went quite well at the end. I was 5th at turn 2, so I was a bit scared to not be able to go more in front, but I managed with the joker lap and some overtake to come back just in the bumper of Fabian. So at the end it went well. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, all of the heat races you guys were involved in ended extremely close together. I think these were some of the closest heat finals that we had, and especially in that final race, you were glued nose to tail. I think this track, how is it on this track to try and get past? There are a few opportunities, I think.
Yeah, it's really difficult track. Easy to make mistake because lots of corner with gravel, so not much grip. So just when you are behind, you're just waiting for the other one to make a mistake to leave you some room to overtake. So that's the only way to do it.
Well, especially for you and Fabian, you've got two completely unknown tracks coming up for the final couple of rounds, but I hope it's going to be close, and I hope you can put on a show again in the next couple of rounds, because it looks like you've got almost one hand on the trophy. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it will be difficult. At the end, it's quite tight racing. Fabien is fast. Sindre is fast as well. So for sure we'll have some nice battle going ahead. So we'll see. I don't know the track that we will have. So let's see, and for sure we will fight for the podium again. Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us, and thanks for taking time out of your day to compete in the MRC Rallycross Championship. We really appreciate having you guys here. And yeah, great to hear from you and great to hear your insights. So please join us again. And yeah, we'll see you at round 4.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we'll see there.
Thanks a lot, gents. We'll see you at the next round. Yeah, there we go. That's everybody. And that was a nice set of interviews, I have to say. So thank you for everybody for joining. Let's get a quick look at the calendar for the remaining rounds of the championship as they currently are. We are out in 1 week's time, and then the following week at, first of all, Aston. Then we're going to head to West Hill. So our drivers will be there, and we hope you will be too in some capacity. If you want to join us on the track, you can still sign up for MRC RX Championship Season 3 on the LFS forum in the Master Race Car sub-forum. If you don't fancy that, then please, you can join us for the broadcast once again on Twitch or YouTube. Go ahead and hit the like button on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Twitch channel if you feel like it. We really appreciate your support. And we'll hope to see you again in a week's time. At Aston RX2, from all of us here at Sim Broadcast, it's been a blast. As well, we would like to thank Tim Dicknotter for hosting the championship alongside MRC, New Dimension Racing for providing live timing, tracking, and all the good stuff. And of course, in my ear, Chris McElroy helping me out with all of the timing and the results. And from me, Peter Butcher, to all of you, I hope you have a good night, and we'll see you next time.